As he contemplated the individual versus the crowd and why we conform, the great Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote in his diary in 1846, "Truth always rests with the minority because the minority is generally formed by those who really have an opinion, while the strength of a majority is illusory, formed by the gangs who have no opinion." With the change in board leadership today, I thought I would take this opportunity to reflect on the meaning of the word leadership, as well as to reflect on my first 4 years of service as a trustee. The late management consultant Peter Drucker said, "Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things." And the late president of ITT Corporation, Harold Hal Geneen, said, "Leadership is practiced not so much in words as in attitude and in actions." Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. Having joined this board on July 1st, 2012, my tenure is longer than all but 7 current members, which is really hard to believe. I came to this board as its outspoken critic. Some past and present members did not, and do not appreciate my outspokenness. I understand that. These same members were so concerned by my prospects of success as a trustee candidate that they took to a campaign of smear against me. My very first meeting was July 12, 2012. For those who do not remember, that was the same day the free report was issued. I will never forget that day so long as I live, for many reasons, not the least of which is that the leadership of the board at the time, contrary to their subsequent protestations, blindly accepted the findings of Louis Freeh. In fact, both the chairman at the time and the then chair of the Board of Trustees Special Investigations Task Force were clear and unambiguous in their acceptance. Never once did they challenge those findings. We now know, however, that Louis Freeh's quote-unquote findings were nothing more than his opinion. At least that's what he now argues. Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. Then on July 23, 2012, our former president, without the approval from the full Board of Trustees, signed a consent decree with the NCAA appropriately titled Binding Consent Decree Imposed by the National Collegiate Athletic Association and accepted by the Pennsylvania State University, resulting in the commitment by the university to pay a $60 million fine. With respect to the decision by former leaders of the university to exclude the entire board from the decision-making process, I remain dumbfounded. In light of the fact that not one member of the executive committee, not one, asked to see, let alone read or review the consent decree prior to its execution is stupefying. Adding insult to injury, the free report would be accepted for purposes of the consent decree, apparently without the knowledge of the members of the executive committee. Where was the oversight? Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. In November 2012, former Auditor General Jack Wagner issued a special report entitled Recommendations for Governance Reform at the Pennsylvania State University. In it, he recommended a reduction in the size of the Board of Trustees from 32 voting members to 22 members, 21 voting, 1 non-voting, and changed the way that business and industry members are elected. Instead, against the wishes of then Governor-elect Tom Wolf and State Senators Jay Corman and John Udacek, we increased the size of the board to 38 members, 36 voting, 2 non-voting. Of course, we did so under the guise of reform, when in fact we all understood the intent of this change was to further solidify control of this board in the hands of the unaccountable few. Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. As for committee assignments, I must admit that since I joined the board, I have seen opportunities to utilize the strengths of our membership missed. In an apparent effort to punish certain members, assignments have been made that do little to strengthen our oversight. Furthermore, these assignments only serve to widen the divide among us and weaken this body. Recently, this divide was furthered when, in an interview, a former chair of this body and current emeritus trustee decidedly pointed the finger at alumni elected trustees when she stated, "We have a situation on the Board of Trustees where some of the 9 elected trustees, I think I could honestly say, have a way of making the board dysfunctional more often than it should be." Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. Let me finish with this reminder. Along the sidewalk running adjacent to the Old Maid lawn is a quarry from which the original stones for Old Main were taken. There sits a plaque with the following inscription: the Penn State Honor Code. A good name is earned by fair play, square dealing, and good sportsmanship in the classroom, on the athletic field, and in all other college relations. We earnestly desire that this spirit may become a tradition at Penn State. That was from the Skull and Bones Senior Honor Society, founded in 1912. Leadership. Only true leadership leads to real change. We look forward to your leadership, Mr. Chair. Thank you.